Hello and welcome to the second installment of the series on answering the objections to Christianity. The first video was on overcoming the perceived judgmentalism by the church. And the second video here, we're going to be dealing with, whether or not science has disproved God and religion. Science! Science, science, science! It's all about science. Apparently so, according to the chapters. And so what they say is that science has had so much technological advances over time, and admittedly so, that it has disproved the need for God. It has disproved the need to have a religious belief and to go to church, whatever, and forever, amen. But I don't think that's the case. And through this video, I'd like to show a few points, mainly, so number one, being the interaction between science and religion. And I would like to show examples of prominent scientists throughout the ages who have maintained their Christian faith in spite of all of this. In fact, it's probably even helped their Christian faith. Number two, that's looking at evolution. And, again, has evolution disproved religion and God? And number three is a special bonus on incest. Should have said that, incest. But it is something that I feel needs to be addressed because at least one person in my life has raised an objection based on this very sub-issue. So we're going to go into it right now. Number one, the interaction between science and religion. So an analogy I would like to make is this. So think of a grandfather or grandmother, maybe the last one who's living, and they're leaving with you, a few sayings. They're maybe recorded on tape if you're an old school person, or maybe on a YouTube or like an MP3. They want to impart some truths to leave with you before they pass on, and they're pretty much telling you, all the major things that you need to learn in order to be successful in life. Okay. To love your neighbours, to do acts of charity, to treat your family and friends well. Things like that, okay? But inevitably, there will be many things that they do not say. Does that mean that it's automatically invalid? No, of course not, okay? But that's what the scientists think, the pure scientists think when they're trying to disprove religion and God. They say that, science is the be-all and end-all, that is the absolute truth. It is a truth, I will admit, but it is not the absolute truth to the detriment or exclusion of all other truths. I would like to think of it as this. Science explains the how, generally, okay? The how, the process of how things are done. And religion and God. God and, the meaning of life and all of that. To me, that explains the why. Why is there life? Not the process, but why. And generally, science does not transgress upon religion, but sometimes science can shed light on why as well, but generally its focus is on the how. Similarly, God and religion focuses on the why. And like the grandfather or the grandmother that I said in my example or analogy, doesn't go through every single process, how atoms are created, or how the nuclear bomb can be made, or how DNA can be formed to maximize life, and how genetic disorders can be fixed. That's not the sole purpose of religion. That's not even the primary purpose of religion. The purposes of science and religion are different things. But that has not stopped many prominent scientists over the ages in their belief and propagation of Christianity. So in the past, obviously, you had Galileo and Albert Einstein. They were definitely Christians, although some could claim that their religion or belief system was not necessarily mainstream Christianity, but definitely they were Christian and they believed in God. And one quote I would like to quote from Albert Einstein is that the more I delve into science, the more I believe in God. The more I delve into science, the more I believe in God. That is such a gem of a quote, isn't it? I may not have gotten that quote 100%, but that's the point which he was trying to raise. Well, science actually pointed him towards a greater awareness of God in his life. And recently, in the past century, we had two very, very, very famous Christian scientists. Michael Faraday, he was a very famous physicist and chemist. And then there was another one called Francis Collins. He was also a mainstream Christian. He was one of the two guys who worked on the human genome and to map the complexities of the entire human genome. I mean, that's as complex as it can get, right? And he's a Christian. He's still a very strong Christian. And to me, that proves that science and religion are definitely not mutually exclusive, in the sense that one overrides the other. I would like to also touch upon the second point, being evolution. Now, this is fraught with a lot of what you would call mines. It's like a minefield. You walk through it, the mine blows up, and you're dead. No, but what happens is you've got evolutionists on one side who completely discount religion and God, and you've got the creationists on the other side. Well, not just creationists, but young Earth creationists. Oh dear, don't get me started on them. I mean, they just think that the Earth is like 6,000 years old, and then they completely discount even like the moderate views, and let alone evolutionism. And it's just to me, they just go at each other, and it's just an unnecessary distraction, to be honest. I believe personally in theistic evolution. I believe that God created the Earth, definitely. But I do believe that God created the Earth over 5 billion years, possibly over 10 billion years. Look, in the 90s they were saying that it was 4.6, 4.8 billion years old, but now they're saying it's even older than that, maybe 9 or 10 billion. But that's still a lot of billions. Alright? That's still a lot of billions. It's not 6,000, it's a lot of billions. I believe that God created the Earth and its animals and humans over that period of time, and that he used most likely the processes of macro and micro evolution to achieve it. And so when Adam came onto the Earth, which was Adam and Eve about 6,000 years ago, yes, they were real humans, but I believe God most likely used macro evolution to evolve the animals before it into the first humans, the first real humans as we know, Adam and Eve. They were real humans, but I believe they were evolved. So yeah, to be honest, you've got the extreme spectrum. You've got young Earth creationism on one side, which I definitely believe is not true. You've got old Earth creation, which could be true. You've got intelligent design and theistic evolution, which again could be true. I believe theistic evolution is most likely. But evolution, complete evolution, without a reference to a God, complete evolution in the sense of us being pure products of primordial sludge. No, again, that's the other extreme. I don't believe that's true at all. I believe that the truth is to be found somewhere in the middle, incorporating both God and most likely evolution as well. Again, that is consistent with the first point that I was making, that one does not rule out the other. In fact, the two can be mutually coexistent, despite the different aims of science addressing how and religion expressing the why. Okay, so that's the main 2 points out of the way. Now the third point, a bonus point, which is not often addressed on YouTube, and it's not often addressed even in Christian commentary. The problem or dilemma of incest. And so the people that object to Christianity based on this and it's linked to probably the other the reasons against Christianity, primarily the science reason, which is stressed in this video. It goes like this: because Adam and Eve was the first humans, well, all the genetics came from that. So therefore, aren't we all products of incest? Okay, and the same thing goes from Noah when the flood happened, and they're trying to repopulate and start again with that one family. Aren't we all again products of incest? Okay, this was not easy, and I had to go through a lot of Christian commentaries to have a look at this question. I texted Mark Driscoll in one of those mega speeches that he made to 15,000 people in Sydney, and guess what? He completely dodged it. What a coward. absolute coward. He dodged the question. I texted him and he didn't answer it. But I did find something in John Stott's commentary, which was he was addressing this very point in the Genesis section around the Noah part, which I think was Genesis 8 or 9. And he pretty much said something like this, which I generally agree with. He said that, where in the beginning few generations, incest was impossible, then God forgives it automatically, and there's no sin or disdain associated with natural progeny in those first few generations. But afterwards, where you can select people that are distant enough genetically, it is a sin and disdain to engage in sexual relations with someone who is too close genetically. So you just put it down to two sets of generations: the earlier generations, and then late generations, where incest, is solidified as a sin and disdain. He doesn't define, the number of generations from early to later, but there's definitely, a cut-off point. And by the time of, the kings and David and Solomon, I believe that line has been well truly crossed. You do not sleep or have sexual relations with anyone who is genetically similar. And I believe that's enshrined in law today as well. So I guess that's my answers to the objections of Christianity around science, whether or not science has disproved Christianity, whether or not evolution has disproved Christianity, and also incest, the problem of incest. And I believe that's my take, and I believe that solved it. But I would like to end with a challenge. Consider the person of Jesus. Despite all of these, background noise, consider the person of Jesus and what He's done to save you. On the cross, He died for you. He died and rose again to newness of life, and you can have eternal life too if you believe and trust in Him as your Saviour and Lord. And I suppose that's it for now. And